Good morning, Newport, and welcome to From the Desk of the Mayor. Thank you, NEK-TV, for allowing me to bring these updates to our residents. Once again, I will see you on Mondays at the Mayor's Hours from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Council Room. Wednesday by appointment, please, because those particular meetings on Wednesdays, which have proven successful, are for business people who really need to come and discuss issues, or if there is an issue that you might have that you really need to discuss with me before just sitting in a general open session. So Monday, come on in, 9 to 11 a.m., I am there. On Wednesdays, please, by appointment. I do want to let you know that we had our regular council meeting yesterday. It was a full agenda. I'm going to bring you up to speed for those who were not able to be there. I'm going to bring up some highlights, some that were pleasant, and some, of course, were interesting discussions. We did our standard opening up, approving the minutes. We approved payments, warrants, liquor licenses, vendor permits, anything for special events. They went through. We also talked about the Bluff Road pump station advertisement bids, and there was a vote in favor of that choice. We looked at the Gardner Park soil remediation loan that was needed for that. The amount of money was lowered and the term was shortened, and that was approved. The city manager gave us a quick update on a timeline of projects. Newport Downtown Development identified certain projects they were interested in, and we gave authority to do some research on those projects. And then we had some other business and discussions that went through. We talked a bit about the personnel policy. If all will remember, we had a thorough session with our attorney in executive session. We came out of that executive session in February. Some people who were employed and some who were statutory appointments gave us their thoughts and their ideas and what they wanted. Remember, the personnel policy is produced by the city, but we listened, and there was a vote, and the policy, as was discussed with our attorneys, was passed. This particular personnel policy, mostly brought up by one of the people who voted no, and the same employees, the few employees who want to change it, keep bringing it up. It has been thoroughly discussed, but we are looking at what they're saying, and I have asked a lot of questions, and we will be getting that back on our agenda again to address some of these questions. Of course, we will be doing that again in executive session as far as legal advice, but then we will come out and make some decisions. And so, but it should be noted that this has not been kicked down the road. It's already been voted on by the council. And now what's being asked is for it to be reviewed again. And that's all fine, and the council yesterday said, we'll look at it. And right now, as soon as I get the information back with the city manager from our attorneys, we've asked for some information, and then we will put that on the agenda. That was voted on. So we will be discussing that. But please understand, this was already voted on. It's not like it's been just thrown down the road. Just because you don't like the way a vote goes doesn't mean that you just put blinders on and say, I want to keep doing it, I want to keep doing it, I want to keep doing it. We are paying attention, and as I said, we voted to revisit it with the research that I have asked for. So we will get back to you on that. The other item that was brought up by residents was the situation that we had with Councilmember Charbonneau sending out an email to our city manager after going to our police chief using his official city email, which we've discussed before, requesting a criminal complaint be sent to Orleans County Sheriff Department. It should be very clear, and I made this clear, that Councilmember Charbonneau did not have any authority whatsoever to use that city email and represent that the city was, in fact, looking to do this investigation. And thankfully, the police chief and the city manager brought that to my attention, as they should, as the CEO, of course, of the city and their direct supervisor. It also should be noted that there was no, quote, criminal complaint ever produced that would be sent out to anybody. These are very serious charges. It can, as the residents themselves stood up yesterday and said, could destroy somebody's reputation, could destroy somebody's family life. This is not a healthy thing to do. And the city, once again, did not do this, does not endorse this. Councilmember Charbonneau, on his own, using his own personal email account, can act and do whatever he wishes. He can do that in a personal capacity. But there was no authority to go either to the police chief and give direction there as a sole alderman, or go to the city manager and give direction there as a sole alderman. Inappropriate, and the city does not encourage that. There have been requests for censorship, and in fact, many of the residents have sent us letters and have also asked for the council member to resign. We are looking into what censorship means, and I will get back to you if in fact that is something that sits well with the council. However, we are looking at the law, and that is something that you always need to do. I do once again apologize to Councilmember Curtis for having to go through this. When Councilmember Charbonneau was asked why or what these charges were that he was concerned about, his response, and I'm paraphrasing this, was that he doesn't believe he needs to speak to it in an open forum, and that people could talk to him on his own. It should be noted that the council member did not come to the mayor or to Councilmember Curtis to address this. Councilmember Curtis was appointed as the constable. We came up with a possible conflicting statute that was brought to our attention. We researched it. Councilmember Curtis, for 30 days, held this position and then resigned because there was a more conservative way to say that it could have been a conflict and incompatible, while there's always an argument for the other side. But Councilmember Curtis stepped down. If, in fact, a constable is appointed and Councilmember Curtis wants to be appointed as the second constable, there is no conflict, and that could be something he might consider. However, no bad act was done. This was a vote by the council to appoint. Once there was a question of possible incompatibility, the conservative result was that Councilmember Curtis stepped down. No action was taken during this appointment. No payment was made during this appointment. The council member just went on being a council member. So for this type of action to take place, it definitely was done with a city account by a sole alderman, and that is something that the city does not endorse, and the city will be looking at that as well. Moving on, I do want you to know, and I'm sorry that we have some of these hard discussions going on today, but you as the city need to know this. We have been bombarded with public records requests by one particular resident. It is everybody's right to ask for public records. However, one needs to wonder why one particular resident needs to know every single thing, and I'm paraphrasing, that is going on in the city. Why this person would need emails and texts and messages on operations going on in the city over 3 years. That will cost the city money. Whatever the end game is for this person, is it worth it for the city taxpayers to pay our legal fees for that, to waste the mayor's time? And I say waste because this is, in my opinion, an abuse of a search. Okay? Because what is the result? You don't like the mayor? You know what? Just don't vote for the mayor if she runs again. The election box will determine who's going to be your leaders. But don't take it out on the citizens. Don't make them have to pay these legal fees to respond, to redact what's privileged. Okay? Is it necessary to have all of the invoices of all of our city attorneys every single month? This takes time. We are in the middle of good projects. We are in the middle as a council of finally moving forward. Great things are happening with the rec department. Good things are happening with our streets. The administration has given us money for grants. In fact, we are just doing everything that is so good for the city and for you. I want you to know that our city manager has participated in a meeting with Newport City Downtown Development. That was a task force that they have. The mayor participates as well. We already have our redevelopment plan coming about, was already approved. Contracts are signed. We are ready to go. This is an exciting time. We want these professionals to turn around and tell us, hey, look at Newport holistically. Now we want to come in here and tell you a TIF district might work, might not work. We want that valuable input. If we have to keep stopping the day-to-day work and keep doing these public records requests, in my opinion, to no end game other than to satisfy somebody's fixation, okay, it's going to be it's going to interfere with the operations. And if this is just, in my opinion, a stall tactic to get us to election day so that the council can't do its work, I ask, please stop. Be respectful. You do have a phenomenal council up there. Let them do their work. I think that it's very important that everybody knows on June 23rd, we have the second Pride Parade. The council has been asked to participate in March, and we are going to do that. There was a vote yesterday as well for Newport to become an inclusion city. The council did hear that request, read the declaration. It was discussed, and it was voted unanimously. So that is a statement that the city has taken. I want everybody to know that the recreation department is jamming and moving along. Okay, thank you, Rec Director Mike Brown. He's wonderful. His team are out there getting your summer ready to go. Get out there, have fun. It will be safe. Thank you to our police chief, always putting safety of the city first. Absolutely fantastic. Our police chief is always going for trainings, always making sure we have the appropriate equipment. Thank you to our interim fire chief, Jonathan Delabria, who's also our city manager. He is out there making sure that we are safe, attending to the appropriate fires, training, making sure that the fire department, he's meeting with them, they are discussing what needs to be done. And this is all good. Everybody is working together. The departments are coming out and working together. There were a couple of fires that were responded to, and thank goodness nobody was hurt. Our planning and zoning administrator, Frank Cheney, he's amazing, absolutely amazing. He is in charge of everything we possibly could need for records, etc. He's right there. He understands what documents are needed. When people come to the mayor's hours and have questions, zoning administrator Cheney pulls those documents for me, deeds, boundary lines, assessments, so that we can answer your questions appropriately. He just works one of the hardest workers I have ever met, and I applaud Mr. Cheney for what he is doing. I have to say that everybody is working so well. We have liaisons to the different departments, so each council member is a liaison to the different departments, and we have agreed that we're going to keep rotating that so that each council member has an opportunity to fully learn what's going on in each department. So July 1st, we're going to do a rotation so that everybody can get a new department to liaise. And then after that 3 months, we'll do another rotation. So that is what the concept is. The purpose of the liaison from the council is to hear what's going on and update the council more quickly, okay, so that we understand what is going on in the department. And it is important for the council members to really understand each department. And it is beneficial to you so that once the council has more information, we can share with you what is going on and make more informed decisions. So I want to say that there are so many good things going on. I want to say that I would like to see the council continue to move along. There's great dialogue. The discussions are out there. There has been a lot of communication from our citizens. The process is, the way I have been doing it right now, is when there's an agenda item, you will have a reasonable time once I throw it out for comment to discuss it or make your comment, okay? The purpose is for you to comment. Remember, this is business of the council where the discussion takes place so that the discussion can then go into a vote if necessary. There is a public comment section that I do have at the end, okay? That is also, remember, it's just all about reasonable time, so I may have to turn around and say, okay, you've spoken 3 times, 4 times, it's not going to happen that way, or cumulatively, we may have to say this is going to be the time in order for me to keep order in the council room, and in order for me to make sure that our council members do get home at a decent hour. We have been going 9, 10 o'clock at night, and because we are doing business. But sometimes we have to deal with that agenda of specific residents who just want to speak. I'm allowing them to do that. If it gets unreasonable, and it's not reasonable, of course I will have to cut it short if it interferes any further with the business of the council. So I am asking you to please reach out to me, reach out to the city manager. We communicate all the time, so we're aware of what is going on. The city manager reports to the mayor and the council. That's how you work. You work together as a team, okay? And the city manager is totally transparent to the council, as it should be. So I thank you, and I thank NEK-TV for this, because it is very important that you hear what is going on, not just hear blurbs of statements thrown out during comment time, okay? Somebody has a storyline they want to promote it. I ask that you don't do it at the council meetings because your storyline usually is not conducive to what all the facts are. It's very rare that somebody outside can figure out how they should run the city and know what's going on. Plus, they're not employed by the city, nor are they an elected official. So you elected us. Trust us. We are doing our work. And we're doing it for you, Newport. We want you to be safe. We want you to be happy. We want you to have fun. We want you to have good housing. We are looking at all of these issues. You are our priority. So thank you and have a wonderful week.